So here I'm going to be doing a ranking of all of the mazes / haunted houses that I went on at Universal Studios Hollywood Halloween Horror Nights. Halloween Horror Nights is just a staple of the Halloween season for me every single year. It's a must go thing that I gotta go to. I love the mazes, I love the atmosphere, I love the scares, I love the food. It's just a great time. And since this year I actually was able to go on all 8 haunted houses, it did take 2 trips, but I did eventually go on all of them. I figured I'd do a ranking video showing what I thought of each of them. Now, unfortunately, at the time this video is going to get published, Halloween Horror Nights will no longer be available because it'll be either on Halloween or past Halloween. But still, if you're someone that did go to this event this year in 2023, you can watch the video and see how much you do agree or not agree with my ranking. That will go from worst to best, least favorite to favorite, however you want to put it. If you want to see some of the footage that I got on each of these haunted houses, you can check out my theme park channel, Attracted to Attractions, that I'll show on the screen right there. So with that in mind, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. So first up, we have Holidayz in Hell. This is an original maze, not based on a movie or anything like that, and it was located in the lower lot section, tucked all the way in the back, like behind the Transformers building. The whole gimmick behind this maze is sort of each of the Holidayz in a ghoulish, hellish type version, hence the name Holidayz in Hell. Each of the holiday sections here have a nice devilish twist on their holiday, like a mutated or monstrous Easter bunny, or a turkey monster killing a whole bunch of people eating Thanksgiving dinner, stuff like that, and that was fun. I guess the disadvantage this maze had for me is that they just did it a few years ago in 2019, and it was basically the same thing in 2023, except here it was at a major disadvantage because it was in the lower lot section, it wasn't in the upper lot. In 2019 it was able to have a whole additional scare zone at the back end once you get past the Christmas section. Here, the ending, the Christmas section, is pretty lackluster, and then it just ends in kind of a weird kind of fashion, meaning that the maze itself didn't really have much impact for me this year. The Stranger Things Season 4 maze was located to the left of the Transformers building. Here, you journey through the story of Stranger Things Season 4. Now, this maze was kind of light on scares, real scares. You know, you had Vecna, the villain of Season 4, popping out every now and again, and the makeup and just how he looked was really good here. However, I think a big problem with sort of a Stranger Things maze, a lot of the times it's just the regular teenage characters coming at you, and obviously that's not very scary, so that's not really ideal for a haunted house. I also think there was a missed opportunity here, not having anything from the Demogorgon, which was in Season 4. It was in those snow sections with Hopper and whatever Russian place they were in that Russian prison. So overall, I think this maze did have some cool parts. Like I said, Vecna looked cool, had some cool parts like the 11 in the Rainbow Room killing that one guy. But unless you're a fan of the show, I think this is a maze that won't have much impact for you if you chose to go on it.
What have you done?
The Evil Dead Rise maze was located on the upper lot on the way to Illumination Land, on the left side right by the Secret Life of Pets building. This maze takes you through the story of the 2023 film Evil Dead Rise, which I had not watched at the time I went through the maze, but I watched afterwards. Now, whether or not you have or have not seen the film, the movie, or the maze rather, delivers on the kind of stuff you would want from a haunted house at Horror Nights. Crazy looking chicks looking like they're about to throw up, blood, all that kind of good stuff. It's fairly generic when it comes to this, but that's kind of what people want when it comes to haunted houses at Horror Nights. Now, watching the film afterwards did make me appreciate what they pulled off in the maze, in terms of pulling off the basic story, and especially the final section, with the multi-person monster thing. That thing looked pretty cool. Topped off, of course, with someone with a chainsaw. Universal Monsters Unmasked was located in what I like to call the lower upper lot section behind Wizarding World. It's a haunted house full of the classic monsters such as Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Invisible Man, Igor, and others. While I usually find mazes like this to be a bit generic, I thought this one was a pretty decent flow of going through the various monster sections. The best one definitely being the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde section. Mr. Hyde was pretty relentless and had moments where he got a little closer than I would have liked. The Exorcist Believer maze was located in the lower lot, behind the Transformers building and in front of Holidayz in Hell. This maze was more marketing for the film than anything else. To my knowledge, this was the first time that a maze had come out at Horror Nights before the movie had even debuted. Now, I hadn't even watched any of the trailers for this film before I actually went into the haunted house, but it gives you the basic Exorcist scenery you can expect in terms of bedrooms, girls in white bedtime dresses, and of course a lot of panicking and screaming. Now, this maze was noteworthy for having a section that is flat out stunk in terms of smell wise, where you're in like a forest area and it smells like you're smelling actual dog shit or something. I'm not sure what the point of that was. But besides that, this haunted house had one of the best scares for me, which was the first moment that horned demon thing pops out. That was really cool looking. The makeup and effects were good, and like I said, that initial moment where it comes out was like, whoa, wasn't really expecting that, but there was some great scares along the way.
What am I looking at?
Monsters of Latin America was located on the upper lot, on the way to the Illumination building on the right side across from the Evil Dead Rise. This maze was actually pretty much identical in concept to Monsters Unmasked in terms of going through various sections of monsters, in this case from Latin American culture. This was definitely the smelliest maze in terms of aroma. That's kind of hard to describe. I guess it was trying to replicate some kind of Latin American smell. Like Monsters Unmasked though, I thought the flow of going through the distinct monster sections was pretty good here. Visually, the highlight moment was definitely that demon white bird thing. That thing looked incredible. I also really liked the final section, the final monster that looked like Mexican Freddy Krueger, but that part had one of the best scares, and that was the giant head of him that popped out at you, leading to a really nice looking scare zone at the end. The Last of Us haunted house was located in the lower lot, right next to the mummy ride entrance. Now, the moment that they announced that they were going to do a maze based on The Last of Us, I was like, oh, that could be pretty intense. Now, here they had great actors for Joel and Ellie.
No pun intended, Volume 2 by Will Livingston. What did the mermaid wear to her math class?
Please don't.
An algebra. Get it? Algebra?
You see them throughout the maze, so it really does feel like you're on a journey with them, rather than being them from a first-person kind of view. And I really like the buildup of the story here in this haunted house. Joel and Ellie are traveling together, then they get separated, then Joel has to make her way back to her, and then that's where your infected come in. And they look great. They look straight out of the game. Leading up to the bloater, that was the best way to end things here. Though I could have done without the constant censoring of Ellie's dialogue, all of her F-bombs. You know, it's Horror Nights. It's supposed to be a mature audience here anyway. You shouldn't have to be constantly censoring things. But still, it didn't hurt this otherwise great maze.
Are you kidding me? Thanks for the warning on the other side, guys.
Chucky Ultimate Kill Count was located in the upper lower lot section, right behind Wizarding World. Now, this is an example of a haunted house just capturing the tone of what it's based on perfectly. For one, the building facade for this haunted house is perfect. It's the good guys factory, where you get to hear great dialogue amongst the Chuckies and how they're going to put the horror back in Halloween Horror Nights.
What the?
I'm here to put the horror back in Halloween Horror Nights by killing every schmuck that's dumb enough to walk through the front door. Especially you entitled. The Exorcist get the line. You're first on my list.
Then once you're inside and you see Chucky with his kill counter, I mean, it's called Ultimate Kill Count for a reason, and then going through his most iconic kills from his career, from the films, and even a little bit of the show, it's perfect because Chucky is all about him, watching him doing his thing and having fun, and that definitely comes across here. And thankfully they went with the choice of having actual sort of doll-like animatronic Chuckies doing their thing, instead of having little guys or actors in costumes. That wouldn't really be good. That was one of my biggest questions, which was how are they gonna practically pull this haunted house off? And thankfully they did it great with all the animatronic Chuckies. Hopefully next time we get to see Jennifer Tilly in the next Chucky maze. That was the only thing missing here. So there you have it with my ranking of all the haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights 2023. There was other fun stuff to do at Horror Nights this year. I thought the Terror Tram was for the most part fun, the whole Exterminators thing. Then I liked the Blumhouse Behind the Scream show with the Five Nights at Freddy's display and then the Dancing Megans. And of course there was the Purge Dangerous Water show that they had in the Waterworld area. That was a really well done show. Horror Nights I just love every year just because the mazes really have a whole bunch of different effects for me. For one, you can go in these mazes and haunted houses and it really feels like you're in that franchise. Like it really feels like you're in the middle playing The Last of Us or maybe even watching Chucky, whether it's the movies or the TV show. And for stuff that I haven't seen yet, like The Exorcist Believer, makes me want to actually watch that movie and see where all this crazy shit comes from. Same with actually learning about the monsters of Latin America with all the different stuff that was in that haunted house. So plenty of great stuff at Halloween Horror Nights 2023. So that'll do it for this ranking of all the haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights 2023. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching.